In this video, we have the brand new Haiboxing 16890 four-wheel drive brushless 16th scale RC monster truck. It's got the oil-filled shocks, it's got the bearings, it's supposed to be waterproof, it checks all of the boxes. We're going to be doing a full unboxing, test drive, and review of this truck. Let's start by getting it out of the box. So this has quite a lot in it. We have the controller itself, pretty basic, honestly. I think we've used this in a couple other vehicles before. Big enough size to fit comfortably in my hand. Also enough, though, for my kids. Steering trim, throttle trim, steering dual rate, so you can change how much that goes. You also have bind mode, some reverses, and the power switch there. You do need to provide 3 AA batteries in order to get up and running. A full set of paddle tires. That is awesome. Really excited. If we had some sand or some snow around right now, this would be absolutely great to throw at it. A whole set of spare parts here. Rear wing that needs to be bolted on. Here is a 2S LiPo, 1050 milliamp, 7.4 2S LiPo. I'm guessing there might be another one in the truck, so this looks like a spare. I'm seeing 2 different USB chargers in here, so you can charge 2 batteries at the same time. Set of body clips. What is this? Oh, a wheelie bar, so we can actually stick a wheelie bar in the back of it. And then some spare wheel nuts, a cross tool, bind plug, basically anything that we would need right in there. You can see here how to contact Haiboxing, both Facebook, looks like Instagram, and then their website. So if you have any issues, you can get a hold of them. A Hobbywing user manual for the ESC. This is very interesting. So it appears it's actually a Hobbywing branded ESC that's in there. It tells you how to be safe with the LiPo batteries, which you do need to be safe with them. We have a manual. I have sticker sheets that need to go on. In the manuals, I always like to see basic setup and control. So if you're a first-time user of RC, then you can have some basic ideas, multiple languages here, how to get started. But this is what I really always come back to look for. Do we have parts list? Yes, we fully have parts lists. So if you break something, you can find the part numbers, find what it's called, go out there on the internet and find it. But then also right here, very important, these are the assembly exploded views. So if you need to replace something, you can come in here and see how it goes together so that you know how to replace it if anything ever goes wrong. But then of course there's the truck itself, and this is the 16890. One of the first Haiboxings I ever had was a couple generations ago, 16th scale truck, and I'll be honest, it was awesome. It was literally one of my favorite vehicles that they've ever produced. And it looks like this might be just a slightly revised version of it. We have a different body on it now. We have the ability to put a wing on the back. The previous truck did not come with a wing. So we have the ability to put a wing on it. Tires and wheels look roughly the same. Underneath the body, we have, exactly like we said, another 2S LiPo ready to go. This is a big improvement compared to the last vehicle. It is a ESC and a receiver separated unit. So a lot of times in these budget vehicles, you will get these 2 components as one, which means if you ever do want to do any kind of upgrades to them, you have to replace more parts. Because these are separate parts, that means that if you ever need to do upgrades, you don't have to replace the controller and the receiver. You can just plug the new parts directly in here. Looks like we have what appears to be a standard micro-sized servo, so if anything goes wrong, with a 3-wire plug. So if anything does go wrong with it, you can actually just upgrade it to and many of the aftermarket servos that are available out there and get it up and running. We do have the 3 wires here, which does mean that is a brushless motor back here underneath this sticker with a little heatsink fan. That should be quite nice. We have the oil-filled shocks on all 4 corners. Those feel good. We have metal dog bones in the rear. We have metal CVDs in the front, big beefy ones. We also have a full metal driveline, which at this point is almost just standard, because with the power that they're starting to provide, you just kind of have to. It does appear, see the wires coming up here, so it does appear that we do have some headlights in this vehicle as well. I think the next step for us is to get the batteries charging and to get the wing and the wheelie bar mounted up. We're going to put the wheelie bar on first, and looking at the design here, it looks pretty straightforward. 2 screws up here in the top of the diff case, plus 4 down here in the bottom. Looks like this rear bumper is integrated with the pins right here. The rear bumper pulls out, and then we're going to put this right back in its place and bolt it on. Now you need to be really careful when you do this part right here. You want to pull this back, but you'd rather leave these pins in place. Those help control those rear control arms and hold them in place. As you put this back on, just make sure that those pins slide right back into that new piece. All we're going to do, 4 screws back in here, and then up here where we were, this just bolts right in where those top screws were. Very easy. Another thing to note, Wheelie Bar actually has 3 mounting positions right back here, which actually allows you to adjust the total height of the wheelie bar. That'll determine, as you drive the truck, how high up it goes before the wheelie bar comes in contact. It came for me in the middle position, which honestly, that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I may move it up one just to get it up even a little bit higher. And then for the wing, it's honestly even a more simple operation. Sets right here on top. And then you take 2 of the screws and run them right down in there. Getting ready to drive it, one thing you'll want to watch is this antenna. You probably want to zip tie it up somewhere safe and secure. Mine was dangling loose and easily could have been put under my body. If they get pinched or damaged, then the range, the distance that you can drive the truck away, does decrease dramatically. So I'm going to tuck mine in underneath some of these wires in order to keep the truck, keep that safe while we're driving. The thing you'll want to be really careful of is I fire mine up. It is flashing red ESC. That's because somehow my throttle trim got bumped. Now if we put my throttle trim back to neutral, you see the light now is off. Throttle trim is just right of centered actually. It's not quite centered, just right of it. But the light goes off and now it works. So I can imagine if you own this, that is a very easy button to bump. There's no cover over it or anything. So maybe you will eventually run into like, why won't my truck start? It's because of that throttle trim. Now let's get out there and drive this thing. You got the camera dirty. Now folks always want to know, will it drive in grass? Yes, but this is some pretty short grass that we have right now. And they always want to know, will it pull a wheelie? So the simple answer is no, it can't. It has plenty of power to pull a wheelie, but it doesn't have the traction to do it. It just spins the tires on the asphalt. It won't actually be able to pull it, whether it's in grass, whether it's on hard surface. It just needs a slightly stickier tire, and then it'll definitely pull a wheelie. But how about jumping? Oh, it jumps beautifully. Oh! Save it! There we go! It lives! It's got good power, it jumps really well. Will it do a backflip? We gotta see! Oh, it will not. Coming back after the test drive, what are my initial thoughts from the truck? First off, we have to absolutely give it full credibility for the durability. Credibility for durability. Yes, you can say that 4 times fast. I crashed this thing multiple times. Pretty hard hits from really big jumps coming down and hitting it, and it is literally fine. It's got some mud in the front bumper that I still didn't clean out very well. But other than that, it took it, all of that hit, all of that impact, all of that, and no damage whatsoever. It is literally in perfect shape except for the dirt. This is what I found out with these trucks prior, which is that they're so lightweight and they're going at not such a crazy speed that they just kind of bounce off of stuff. And so even if you hit them pretty hard, they kind of bounce and then just keep going. Eventually they will break, of course. Everything breaks eventually. But really great, very excited to see how good this thing did straight out of the box like that. Power was good, speed was decent. The Hobbywing ESC in here has the same program in it that a lot of these budget trucks have been doing here recently, which is there's a big throttle kind of curve or delay. You yank the throttle and it does not immediately giving you that full throttle. It just means that when you're in the air trying to do, you know, to level the truck out in the air and you grab the throttle, you have to predict it and you have to get it time to come around. I truly believe that some of my crashes were due to this throttle delay. This is just a thing that's been happening in these budget vehicles. I think they're doing it to increase durability because if you slowly ramp that power in, it's easier on the total driveline. The other thing I noticed, tires are a little hard. It is cold out there today, if I'm honest. It was only about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's pretty chilly out there today, which does not help the tires, does not help the traction, but I was really hoping to get that beautiful, like, long-standing wheelie out of it. And there's a couple times in which I was able to, like, bounce it and get a wheelie for just a short period, but a lot of it, again, I think comes down to that throttle trigger. You have to, like, wait for it to give the power delivery in for it to pull up, and it just, otherwise it didn't have it. But handling, driving, durability wise, all of that, this thing was an absolute blast. And I think if a lot of folks are trying to get into the RC hobby and they want something super small like this is a very budget oriented way to be able to do it. Now, one thing that this truck can do that I did not get a chance to test yet is the ESC will actually hold a 3S LiPo. Now, I believe if we put a 3S LiPo in it, then all of a sudden wheelies would not be an issue even without traction. It'd be pulling up so hard, and I bet we get some backflips in it. But unfortunately right now I'm not able to do that test here today. May just have to be a follow-up video. Let me know how badly you want to see this thing on 3S and see how fast it'll go, see how the backflips go and all that. Let me know down in the comments, and maybe that'll be a video coming up very soon. I will have a link down in the video description where you can go and purchase that. If you think that you might want to check out some other vehicles, I have a whole vehicle review playlist that'll be popping up to your right here, and then it has all the different vehicles that I've reviewed. You can go through those and see what a lot of this one's competitors are and see if you may be interested in those instead. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.